This person was a surfer and he had been bitten by a shark.
I did the London Marathon a while ago. I ran it pretty slowly actually, but I did run it.
I think he's from South Africa. He only had one lung. Absolute fire from Nick over here. Got that straight away. Yes. We are finally here. We are finally doing the running pod and I am buzzing. We just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon and good evening to everyone around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have loads to cover in the coming weeks and we really hope that you're going to enjoy this. So it's a big day today. Today is the first episode of our Running Pod series. It's all very exciting. We've got a special guest coming on. We're going to be talking about the Running World Cup itself. We're going to go through the leaderboard. We're going to have stories from around the world. And we're just going to generally give you some information about the tournament. So to start off, I think we'll talk about the leaderboard. This has been amazing to watch throughout the whole tournament. Some teams have gone up and down. It's been such a close points difference as well, with the likes of Japan taking a great lead early on, with Romania, Italy, these smaller countries competing with them. We then moved into the round 16 and saw the likes of Algeria and Tunisia coming up the table, and these guys were really putting the pressure on the bigger teams, and we love to see this. Obviously, we are now in the finals week, which actually commenced yesterday. We have seen an early lead from Namibia in this, but South Africa have taken that top spot back. We do want to congratulate the top four teams, South Africa, Namibia, Mongolia and England. They've done incredibly well, and I think we need to give a big shout out to their country captains as well. We've got the big Wade van Niekerk leading the way for South Africa. We've got Gabby Ikenna for Namibia, who has done such an incredible job. We also have Ganzo from Mongolia, who has done amazing as well. These guys have brought up these two small countries and challenging for the win. And we also finally have Jessica Ennis-Hill for the UK and England. These guys have done such a great job, and we're sort of looking forward to seeing how this week pans out with the rest of the tournament. Now, before I introduce you to our special guest today, I wanted to talk to you about a few stories that we've had sent in from around the world. For example, we have one here from Troy Etzebeth from South Africa. He was saying that he went on his run in the qualifying rounds and he ended up running with 16 dogs. Now, I don't know how that situation comes about, but it sounds pretty fun. I don't know if they are dragging you or if they're running next to you, but thank you very much for that, Troy. Our next story comes from a chap called Michael Kane. Now, he's from Australia. He said that he was running down the beach and he ran into a group of people who were surrounding an injured person. This person was a surfer and he had been bitten by a shark. Right, well, gives me more motive not to move to Australia. I mean, I'm sure it's great for running, but I would certainly not be in those waters. And our final story comes from a lady called Lisa Balmoretti from Italy. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. She went out on her run in round 16 and she bumped into a friend that she hadn't seen for 10 years. It's always nice to see old faces. Thank you so much for sending those stories in. It's always great to hear those from around the world. If you guys have any other stories that you want people to hear, please send them across on our Instagram and I will be sure to get them into our next podcast. Right, everyone. This week, our first guest is Mr. Nick Beresford, who is actually the founder of the Running World Cup. So I'd like to give a nice warm welcome to you. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Hi, Charlie. Yeah, good to be on. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. I think today we may as well jump straight into it and talk about the Running World Cup. You are, of course, the founder, and it is such an amazing event. We've got people running from all around the world for their own country. I mean, this opportunity doesn't come about very often, and the fact that you can do it virtually from wherever you are, it's such a great idea, and we would just love to know what your inspiration was behind it.
Yeah, so I mean, the concept was really it was really sort of designed for anyone kind of like me who sort of dreamed of representing their country at a major sporting event, but never really had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, me as well.
I remember watching sort of England in the football and thinking it'd be great to play for England, but never having the sort of the skill. And I think the whole concept was really born of this idea about how could we give an opportunity for everybody, no matter what their ability, to represent their country in a major sporting event. And that's where the sort of the Running World Cup really was born. And it was a kind of a flip, I guess, on the traditional model where billions of people will watch the Football World Cup or the Rugby or Cricket World Cup or the Olympics, but very, very few athletes get a chance to, or elite sports people play in it, and everybody else kind of watches on TV. So this is kind of the flip of that.
Yeah, of course. When you first started, was it quite a small event? Like, were there actually many people taking part? It must have been quite a hard thing to build up.
Yeah, when we first started it, we got, I think it was like 80,000 odd people, with very little marketing, and people just really got hold of the concept. And so since then, we've been trying to grow it, and more and more countries are taking part, more and more people, and we're on this sort of exciting journey.
Yeah, of course. I think it's really cool because even when I was at school, I had to go to these county running tracks, and you have to qualify for a certain thing. And even then, it'll take years for you to get to the point of actually being able to run for your country. So it's awesome to be able to just download an app and do it yourself, and compete against the likes of South Africa and all sorts around the world. I think great idea. I've certainly enjoyed taking part in it so far. Finals obviously this week. Obviously if you've created a tournament like this, you must do some running. So do you enjoy that sort of thing?
I do like running. I mean, it's I'm by no means a sort of elite runner. I like running in park runs. I do 2 or 3 runs a week, something like that. Pretty sort of generally sort of 5K type distances.
I was going to say, what's the furthest? What's the furthest you've run?
I've done a marathon.
Nice.
I did the London Marathon a while ago. I ran it pretty slowly actually, but I did run it all the way around. But that's the furthest I've run.
Yeah. Well, I try my best to do it. I think my furthest was a half marathon. Did that a couple of years ago. I actually ran for UNICEF at that point, so it's good to tie in with the Running World Cup.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, we're thrilled that UNICEF are on board, and it's great that Vitality are making donations on behalf of everybody. So every time you run each week, they'll make a donation to UNICEF. That's pretty cool.
It's a really cool
thing to do. We're really, really proud of that.
Yes, definitely something to be proud of, and I think a lot of people around the world would agree with that. I'm sure many of them actually took part in this tournament just for that factor alone. I mean, being able to donate polio vaccines to people just by running 3 kilometres is definitely a sort of awesome incentive to do it. We are, of course, in the finals now for the Running World Cup, and it's been such a great tournament so far. We've had so many people from around the world running, and obviously it's down to the top 4 now. Have you had your eye on anyone throughout the tournament? We know we've seen a few small countries being up there challenging the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been really competitive, and we've seen I think over to 15 different countries at some point in time, kind of leading the overall leaderboard in different rounds. We had Japan, who really sort of set an electric pace and did a huge number of bonus points per person. That was, obviously they're all running over, a lot of them running over 10Ks, and that was good to see. We saw some of the countries from Italy, Romania, Tunisia, Algeria. They've all been top of the pile again. a lot of runners running huge distances. We saw folks running over 100 kilometres in some cases, which is just, amazing. So it has been an exciting couple of weeks, and we're there's some amazing countries have kind of been up there, and now the top four: South Africa, Namibia, Mongolia, and England. Namibia and Mongolia are very interesting because they've really had very active populations getting behind the event, getting more and more runners out. South Africa have won each round so far, but they've been pushed pretty close by the likes of Namibia.
I found it quite interesting at how close some of the teams have actually been. Like the sort of top 10 towards the end of round 16, it was all within 10 points, and it was moving up and down, which I found quite exciting to watch, actually, especially with the smaller countries, like you said, like Algeria, Mongolia, Namibia. It's great to see the smaller ones actually competing with the likes of England and South Africa.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's we've had the leaderboard's been a mix of some really big countries from India and England stuff, and some of the smaller countries have also done well. And that's that's the nice thing about this competition. Really, it's any country, any size can compete, and that's the way we try to design it.
Yeah, I think you've designed it really well, and it definitely touches on the fact that literally anyone can take part, and it just shows that any small country has a chance of winning, and they can be up there challenging others, which again you don't really see happen much in other tournaments. Obviously, like the Football World Cup, you're seeing all of the sort of normal teams up in the finals, whereas this, you've seen countries come out of nowhere and they're challenging the big ones. I think another sort of topic of conversation that we really need to bring up, considering it's a big talking point on our social pages at the moment, obviously Algeria being dropped from 4th to 5th. I think it's a bit of a grey area for some people. However, we obviously know that there were some fraudulent runs put in there. Someone submitted some fake ones, which obviously boosted up their score, which had to be removed, which is quite a bit of a shame, to be honest, because Algeria have done so well throughout this tournament. They were up there leading with everyone else, and obviously this has happened, and it's created a bit of a sort of upset between people.
Yeah, and it is a real shame, as you say. I mean, the Algeria team did a brilliant job. It's just unfortunate. I mean, that there was some late into the night on the final qualifying day. There was a number of sort of new accounts that were created and fraudulent runs that were effectively inputted. We've identified that it was actually mainly from one IP address, which suggests it's just sort of one individual. Obviously when the round is sort of complete, we continue sort of monitoring the data, but we do a proper audit just to make sure that all the data is correct, and there and if people are entering manual runs, they do have the proof of that they ran, etc. And we discovered this, and it has caused quite a bit of disappointment and anger on social media from folks that we can fully understand. They've run big distances, moving from 4th to 5th when we removed those fraudulent runs meant that they didn't get through, and it is a real shame. We hope that it doesn't diminish everything that Algeria has done. They actually came 5th out of 237 countries. It's a hell of an
still
achievement.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and we hope they'll be back next year and ready to sort of compete again. And who knows? They could easily go all the way.
Yeah, I think so too. I was following Dr. Yassine, their country captain, very closely, and he's done so much for them. And he had the support of the whole country, and I'm glad that he's done it. And like you said, it is a shame that this has happened and they've had to drop out such a late stage. But it's still such a good achievement to reach that point. And yeah, hopefully see them take part in our next tournaments. I think they have it in them.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, yeah, Dr. Yassim and a number of other folks in Algeria really sort of rallied everybody along, and it's a brilliant effort.
It is just such a sad situation. It's unfortunate that one person has caused all of this for Algeria. But moving on, I think going on to a more positive note, we've had some stories from around the world come in about this Running World Cup, and one particular one that I wanted to highlight is a 72-year-old runner named Berk Gravis from Germany. He has been committing to 5 kilometres every single day of this tournament. I mean, he's 72 years old. I'm 25 and I can barely do that. I get out the door and run, but not to the level that he's doing. I think it's so impressive that he's doing it. And I mean, it's become a dream for him because he wanted to run for Germany all of his life, and you've actually provided him with this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a fantastic story. And, that's exactly what the tournament is about, I think, as you say, Berk had dreamt of running for his country all of his life and never had that opportunity, and now has at the age of 72 and got himself out there and put a run in for his country and helped his country compete, and I think that's just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. We've also had someone from, I think he's from South Africa. He only had one lung, and he was running almost 10k. I think that's just incredible. I don't know how he's done it.
I know, that was incredible, wasn't it? And he also did that as part of the Guinness World Record attempt. So he managed to sort of help break a world record, while running with one lung. Hats off to him for doing that. That's most of us, as you say, struggle to get out with 2 lungs fully. So that's an impressive achievement.
It's great to see that we did get that Guinness World Record as well. I think it's a fantastic achievement.
That was really exciting. Again, I mean, it's part of what we're sort of trying to do is create the largest sort of mass participation sporting event, and trying to get everybody out and running, and no matter what their ability, as we said before, or where they are, it's a free competition, and having the opportunity then to break a world record collectively, and everybody to be able to have their sort of stamp as a Guinness World Record holder, it's quite a cool thing. So we were thrilled to see that we'd broken that record.
Yeah, it's a great story to have for everyone. I personally love the fact that I've now got a certificate that says I'm a record holder. It's a good sort of running story to have and tell people.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, do you have any stories from your running days?
Not. I mean, I guess the one story when actually I was trying to do the marathon. I think someone bet me. I was in a pub or something. You'll never be able to run a marathon. There was sort of 6 weeks to go or something, and I thought, oh well, no, I'm sure I could do that. And so I signed up the next day through a charity, and I think it was that to raise £1,500 for cancer research. So I quickly tried to get some sponsors, and I was a heavy smoker actually at the time, not very fit, and everyone was like, "No way, you're going to do this." So actually, raising the money wasn't too hard, because they just thought you're not going to complete it. And I did then try and train quite hard for 6 weeks. I had to sort of do it, cram probably whatever it is, a 4 or 5 month training plan into 6 weeks, and it was a struggle. I think I made it up to about 18 miles or something as a training run beforehand, but I was in bother on that. I was sort of a bit delusional actually with and then I did run it, and my goal was really just to run it, not to try and set any particular times. I wasn't really in any great shape, and I think I was overtaken by some guy with a massive canoe carrying on his knees. It shows how slowly I was going, but Yeah, that was that.
Wow.
That was that one.
At least you finished the race. That's something
Just
you've got.
yeah, crawled over the line, but I got there.
Good to see that people are carrying canoes while they're running as well. Just goes to the level that people will go to run these days. And to be honest, I've got quite a good story of a guy. It wasn't actually in a race, but I was in an airport once, just sitting in the lounge waiting for my flight. And over the airport tannoy, we had this announcement that said, could this person please get to this gate number as soon as possible? And I looked ahead of me, and there was a guy sat there in a wheelchair, and he had a big cast on his leg. And when this announcement was made, he stood up, ditched his wheelchair, and just started sprinting towards his gate. He was so committed to getting to his flight. It's just amazing to see. I wonder how far he can run without a cast.
Yeah.
Right, moving on to the best part. We've now got the guest quiz. Are you ready for this?
The Running Pod Guest Quiz!
Right, so the first question of the week. I'm going to ask you 4 different questions and you just got to try your best. We'll see how well you do. So question 1 is, what is Usain Bolt's fastest 100-metre time?
9.58 seconds.
Ooh. On the dot. He's prepared. Question number 2. How long is a marathon?
26.2 miles, 42.4 kilometres, I think.
Oof. Absolute fire from Nick over here. Got that straight away. Question 3, based on the Olympics most recently in Japan. What country came first in the 100 metres?
Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's a change from Jamaica and America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just nice
Italy for the men and Jamaica for the women.
Yeah. And your final question, number 4. How many gold medals did GB receive in the recent Olympics?
I don't know. 27?
Close. Not far off, but it was 22. And that is the end of the quiz for this week, guys. Thank you very much, Nick, for taking part.
The Running Pod Guest Quiz!
And that is the end of our first week of the Running Pod. Thank you so much for listening in. We really hope that you enjoyed this. We will be back with you soon with some more content and stories. Please remember, if you have any stories that you want to be told, get in touch and we'll be sure to include them. In the meantime, please be sure to keep running, keep getting out there and staying active. It's a big thank you from me, and I'll see you next time.